You are dead center of the greatest scientific event in the history of man.
If you've created a conscious machine, it's not the history of man. That's the history of gods.
Ex Machina, directed by Alex Garland, is the best sci-fi movie on Netflix that you can go watch right now, July 2020. And maybe one of the best science fiction movies ever. Let's dive in. Are machines precluded from ever being sentient? And can that intuition be supported? Where does gender reside?
I programmed her to be heterosexual, just like you were programmed to be heterosexual.
Nobody programmed me to be straight.
You decided to be straight? Please, of course you were programmed. By nature or nurture or both. And to be honest, Caleb, you're starting to annoy me now because this is your insecurity talking. This is not your intellect.
Is it impossible to present a clear answer? What about the questions of consciousness and AI? These ideas are the lifeblood of this provocative movie that requires the audience to wrestle with some of the most important questions man will ever have to ask. And oh boy, we will have to. This movie is pure science fiction. Main reason being is Ava, the AI robot represented with, is a far jump from where we are in contemporary sciences in that space. We're just not there yet. This movie is also thoughtful. You can tell Alex Garland keeps the company of brilliant people, some of which are in the neuroscience space and consulted regularly while he was writing this film. And with the questions of AI having consciousness, does Ava pass the Turing test? Does Caleb? Would you?
Do you know what the Turing Test is?
Yeah, I know what the Turing Test is. It's when a human interacts with a computer. And if the human doesn't know they're interacting with a computer, the test is passed.
Ex Machina is a fantastic story that delves into the philosophical issues surrounding all the before-mentioned concepts without ever losing steam and without ever stopping being incredibly entertaining. Even the title is a twist of God from the Machine, inviting Nietzsche's The Death of God parallels. Will our own knowledge bring us from women and men to gods? And at what cost? I mean, even Ava is Eve, and her tests play out over 7 days. And so much more things happen in this movie that don't only invite this conversation, but throw you into it. And you're left questioning multiple times in the movie that if this is the path we find ourselves racing down, is it too late? And if so, what now? What if significance rests solely on the shoulders of man? What comes from that? Is it good? And don't make a presumptuous mistake. This is not an anti-artificial intelligence film. The director has stated as such. He said that we as people create consciousness all the time with children, which isn't necessarily problematic. He disagrees fundamentally with Elon Musk's fear of what's to come. The director even desires AI to happen in a powerful way. As he stated, he believes that AI could survive past humans' lifespan. He believes us to die with the solar system. He thinks AI is capable of making journeys that we simply cannot. Allow yourself to experience what can end up being a step on the cobblestone path to the future. There are areas of science that are only understood by a small number of people, thus creating an enormous importance of the ethics surrounding these spaces. This movie is not anti-AI. It looks directly in the face of it and begs the questions of true consciousness and its implications. For me, This movie was about experiencing this interaction, this Turing test, and seeing even the best of man fall short, be outsmarted, outpursued, and that, well, maybe that's okay in the end. And if it's not, it doesn't appear, at least at the level that this film shows could come, that we'll have much say-so anyhow. Ex Machina is a movie that will leave you and even have you during scrambling to put the pieces together, questioning everything that you just saw, and it demands a rewatch, which you won't mind. This movie engages you on a level most movies fall short. It's intellectually stimulating. You're helpless to the flow of information, leaving you questioning what you believe about the characters and why at any given moment. You'll even question what it means to be human. And if you are as such, and if one day you won't be alone in your sentience and what that could mean, you'll question consciousness. And the fact that you even can, what does that mean? Maybe most important of all, you'll enjoy a beautiful movie with a robotic cleanliness and stark color palette and a sterile yet beautiful mansion of a potentially madman billionaire genius. His creation brought to life by a ballerina turned actress, Alicia Vikander, crafting an unbelievable performance. She forces you to believe she actually is AI, inhabiting a flawless VFX-fueled body. Flawless in that the special effects are so seamless from reality. This movie absolutely nails it. And you'll ask yourself questions. Is the billionaire genius Nathan, played by the amazing Oscar Isaac, actually omniscient? The true father of his creation? Does he operate at a level of disconnect may be required to play this game? Or does Caleb, or would you even, leave reasoning behind when engaging with AI, indistinguishable from a woman? And is that a requirement of exploring consciousness anyhow? Who is being tested in this movie? Or do our brains invent consciousness to kind of set us apart from the animal kingdom, set us apart from all other life, until maybe AI? All of these questions play out magnificently in this movie, surely to be cemented as a science fiction icon and cult classic. And I never say that this early. And yeah, I consider 5 years still early. It's a smart script, consulted as previously mentioned by the highest level of thinkers, and even with all of the exposition, you can't find a hole. Simply put, the script requires no cognitive dissonance, laying a believable foundation that will cause you to grip your seat as you experience one of the best sci-fi movies ever made, and probably one of the best movies on Netflix right now. And as if all that isn't enough, you experience the edge of humanity and the start of what's next. You quite literally come face to face with the void that may be to come, to outlast, and at the very least, will bring about some of the most important questions that man will ever have to wrestle with. The hard problem of consciousness. What is consciousness? And what or why is it even conceivable for us? And will it be for AI eventually too? Ontological questions that will undoubtedly be mainstream in the lifetime of the millennial come face to face in this movie. This film brings the discussion forefront. The performances in Ex Machina are convincing, the cinematography beautiful, and the audience respected. Go get lost in an entertaining, difficult, dark, and beautifully told story. Oh, and indulge my last question, please. Are we even reliable observers? Or do we have a bias in regards to consciousness that we just can't shed? That we have to see artificial intelligence as human to even attempt to understand? Or is consciousness truly a concept of spirituality and also true simultaneously? Is it actually our soul? The Spirit of God even residing within, regardless of your or our uncomfortability with this? What do you think?